Hello and welcome to the webinar. I am so excited you're here. We are going to talk about all things commanding your career and the executive presence. Some of the struggles that we high achieving professionals face on a daily basis. And one of those is the imposter syndrome. You know, I, it doesn't matter if you are a business owner, if you are mid-level management, or maybe you're not in management at all and you're wanting to move up. The imposter syndrome is something that affects everyone. It's that little voice in our head that tells us we can't. It tells us we're not worthy or we're not capable, we're not smart enough, we're not fast enough. Some of the other issues is our leadership confidence. And we're going to talk about some just general career stagnation, some of the things that have led us to this place today. And, this webinar is for anyone. I don't care if you are working the window at the fast food restaurant, or you are working the line in a factory, or you're trying to move up to the C-suite. This webinar is for you. This is going to help you develop some leadership confidence so that you can be effective, so that you can be seen as that proficient leader and take those promotions so that you're not overlooked anymore. And that's so important. That's probably why you signed up for this webinar, is because you want to advance your career. You want to maybe step up on the next rung of the career ladder in your life. And it's time to do that. So, high achieving professionals, maybe you might even be an entrepreneur and you're trying to build a business, but we find ourselves in this pivotal stage in life where we've gained a lot of valuable experience. We've achieved significant milestones and likely mastered a lot of things over time. However, you're probably feeling stuck and overlooked and even uncertain about how the next level or where the next level of your success is going to come from. And that's what we want to address here, because these feelings, frustration, they're common. And often, they stem from the imposter syndrome and a lack of confidence in leadership and the feeling of being overlooked for promotions. Understanding these struggles and learning how to overcome them is the key to unlocking your full potential and achieving both career success and work-life balance. So let's talk a little bit more about imposter syndrome. Feeling like you don't belong or that you're in the wrong place. Yeah, that's common. So what is imposter syndrome? It's the internal belief that you're not as competent as others perceive you to be. It's the nagging feeling that your success is due to maybe luck rather than your skill and your ability, and it eventually it wears on you, and you're afraid that people are going to find out that you're a fraud. But I'm here to tell you, you're not a fraud. You're capable of achieving anything that you put your mind to. And, why it happens. And even though we have experience, we've been around, we've been doing our job for a long time. We've went to school, we've gotten degrees, we've taken certifications, but yet we still suffer from the imposter syndrome. Well, let's talk about, how the imposter syndrome affects us. As we take on new responsibilities or you step into leadership roles, you may feel like you don't deserve to be there or in these positions. Maybe you're questioning your ability despite your achievement. The impact is that self-doubt can be paralyzing. It prevents you from speaking up in meetings and advocating for yourself and even seeking out new opportunities. Imposter syndrome can hold you back from pursuing promotions, expanding your business, or taking on greater leadership roles. It leaves you talented, professional, career-driven person. It leaves you playing small and not stepping into your full potential. potential. Let me say that right. You know, lack of confidence in leadership it shows because the imposter syndrome, that voice in your head speaks up too much. And we want to get control of that so that you can live up to your potential and be confident and be a confident leader. You know, lack of confidence in leadership is a common struggle for a lot of professionals who are transitioning into leadership roles or have been asked to lead teams for the first time. You know, as an entrepreneur, you can also be struggling with this as you lead your growing business and face new challenges. So why does it happen? Well, leadership comes with its own set of pressures, and when you haven't fully developed your leadership presence, it's easy to feel insecure. Many professionals doubt their abilities to guide others and make decisions, or to even inspire confidence in your team. You may be unsure if you're making the right choice or if others are viewing you as a credible leader. You know, when there's a lack of confidence in your leadership ability, it shows in your communication, in your decision making, and in your interaction with your team. This can cause hesitation, overthinking, or second guessing, all of which undermine your effectiveness as a leader. Moreover, it can result in you being overlooked for promotions or hired, even if you're trying to get that next leadership position. You know, as decision makers might not see you as someone ready to take on the bigger responsibility. Feeling stuck or overlooked for promotions, that's another product of the imposter syndrome. And many of the mid-level professionals feel stuck in their current roles despite of their accomplishments and of their they feel like they're not being recognized or promoted, and they find themselves doing the same task without the opportunity to grow. And there are several reasons why this happens and why you're feeling stuck. And it could be to maybe there's organizational politics, or you may be even just unclear about your career path, or maybe it's a lack of self-promotion. You know, self-promotion is very important. And sometimes people get so caught up in the day-to-day grind that they forget to actively advocate for their own career progression. Don't forget, you're important. And, you know, there's others that they may seem as competent in their current roles, but you know what? They're not perceived as ready for the next level of leadership. And that's what we want to do, is develop that executive presence, that confidence that says, I am ready to lead. You know, the impact of this is feeling stuck and being overlooked for promotions. It can lead to frustrations and burnout. This sense of stagnation can diminish your satisfaction and your motivation. You might start to question whether you're truly valued or whether your skills are enough and whether you're on the right career path. And over time, this can drain your energy and leave you feeling like you're running in place and never getting anywhere, never advancing. And there's a domino effect, and that domino affects your work-life balance. It also begins to affect how you interact at home with your loved ones, with your family and your friends. These struggles are real in your personal life. And with this imposter syndrome, the lack of confidence in your leadership and feeling stuck in your career, if they're left unaddressed, they don't just affect you professionally, they also spill over to your personal life. You may be experiencing chronic stress and exhaustion, maybe constantly doubting yourself and questioning your abilities, or feeling underappreciated. It takes an emotional toll on you. You might find yourself working long hours just to prove, or maybe striving for that perfection, or overcompensating for the feelings of inadequacy. This leads to chronic stress and exhaustion, which further erodes your work-life balance. It puts a strain on relationships. When you're mentally and emotionally drained from your career struggles, your relationships with your family, friends, and loved ones, it's going to suffer. Your relationships will suffer. You may feel distracted at home or disconnected from your loved ones or frustrated that you don't have the time or the energy to enjoy your personal life. You may feel like your family is suffering because you constantly are stressed and mentally checked out. Diminished happiness and fulfillment. Ultimately, the inability to break free from these career struggles can leave you feeling unfulfilled both at work and in your personal life. Even if you have external signs of success, such as a steady paycheck or a business that's growing, you may feel like something is missing. And that's because fulfillment doesn't come from external achievements alone. The fulfillment comes from the alignment with your values, confidence in your abilities, and a sense of forward momentum in both your professional and your personal life. So, overcoming these struggles and unlocking your full potential, I want you to recognize and confront the imposter syndrome. And the first step is to overcome imposter syndrome is to acknowledge it. Remember that many high achievers experience this, and you're not the only one. You're not alone. And it's not a reflection of your actual abilities. So I want you to practice self-compassion and remind yourself of your accomplishments, no matter how small they are. I want you to remind yourself of your accomplishments and celebrate your successes, no matter how small. And I want you to recognize the hard work that got you where you are right now. And number two, to build leadership confidence, well, we have to develop our leadership skills, and that's key to gaining confidence. Seek out leadership development opportunities, whether it be taking an online course or enrolling in a course in the community college, whatever it is. Maybe your company offers leadership uh, classes. Take those classes. And then also some of the ways that you can do this is by taking ownership of projects that you're involved in. Embrace the feedback as ways to grow. Understand that mistakes are part of the process and that true leaders learn from their experience. So take ownership of these projects. Don't take a second seat to anyone. Excel and move up and learn from your peers and take their criticism, their constructive criticism to heart and learn from that experience. And then I want you to advocate for yourself. If you're feeling stuck or overlooked, it's time to start advocating for yourself. Schedule conversations with your manager or key decision makers to discuss your career goals. Talk about it. And then I want you to showcase your achievements and express your desire for more responsibilities. Brag about yourself and ask for more responsibility to show that you're capable of leading. And if you're an entrepreneur, it's time to reimagine how you can take your business to the next level by surrounding yourself with the right support system. And that doesn't just go for entrepreneurs. That's for anyone who wants to advance in their career. Anybody who is climbing that career ladder and wants to move up in your organization. Surround yourself, network yourself with the right support system. And then you need to find work-life balance that works for you. Work-life balance isn't just a one-size-fits-all formula. Set clear boundaries and prioritize what truly matters to you, whether it's spending more time with your family or pursuing hobbies or simply taking better care of yourself. Balance is crucial for long-time happiness and success. So if you are one of those high achieving, career oriented professionals and you're experiencing these struggles, remember you're not alone and that your path is forward. You're doing this because you want to move forward. You're not alone. And by addressing the imposter syndrome and building leadership confidence and advocating for your growth and prioritizing work-life balance, you can unlock your full potential. And the journey to the next level in your career, it starts with recognizing your value. And that's where true transformation begins. Confidence isn't just about feeling good. It's about how you present yourself. The power of executive presence. And that's what this whole webinar is about, is the power of executive presence and commanding your career. When you think of confidence, you might think of someone who feels good about themselves, someone who is self-assured and comfortable in their skin. But when it comes to career, success and leadership, let me take a drink of water. Thank you. But when it comes to career success and leadership, confidence is not just about how you feel. Confidence is about how you present yourself. The way you project confidence to others can often determine whether or not you command respect or influence decision makers, and ultimately stepping into that leadership role. So executive presence, it is the key. It's the it factor. I call it the it factor. It's the quality that makes people stop and listen when you speak. It conveys authority without arrogance, and that allows you to lead a room even if you're not the one with the most senior title. Executive presence goes beyond technical skills or knowledge. It's how you carry yourself and how you communicate and how you interact with others. But here's the good news. Executive presence is something you can build and develop. You don't need to be born with it. So let's explore how you can strengthen your executive presence, and we'll do a little exercise here that can get you started today. So what is executive presence? Executive presence is a combination of qualities. It's confidence, poise, communication skills, and self-assuredness that makes a person appear capable and trustworthy in leadership roles. It's the unspoken it factor that allows you to inspire others to take control of your challenging situations and influence important decisions. Key elements of executive presence includes body language, how you move, how you stand, how you sit, even how gestures affects, even gestures affects how others perceive you. So confident body language commands attention. The tone of your voice. It's just not what you say, but how you say it. Your tone can convey authority, confidence, and trustworthiness. So communication style is so important. Clear, concise, and assertive communication demonstrates leadership. Leaders who fumble over their words or fail to get to the point often lose the confidence of others real quickly. So also emotional intelligence is involved in the executive presence. Being calm under pressure, self-aware, and attuned to others' emotions helps leaders maintain control of situations and connect with the team. So remember, be connected. So also, executive presence, it affects our leadership roles on every level. And as you rise in your career, as you step up the ladder, having executive presence becomes more important. It's often the differentiating factor between those who get promoted and those who don't. Why? Leaders need to inspire trust and confidence in their teams. If your if your project, not your project, but if you project uncertainty or insecurity, others may question your decisions or hesitate to follow your lead. Leaders need to influence others, whether it's convincing the stakeholders to adopt a new strategy or guiding a team through changes. Strong executive presence enhances your ability to influence all kinds of outcomes. Leaders need to manage difficult situations, whether it's handling a crisis or dealing with conflict. The way you carry yourself during tense moments can either calm the room or, it can escalate the problem. When you're seen as someone who can lead under pressure, speak with authority, and navigate tough conversations, you become that person that others naturally look to for guidance and leadership. So let's talk about building the executive presence. And here's a little exercise. One of the most immediate ways to improve your executive presence is by focusing on two key areas: body language and tone of voice. So let's dive into the simple exercise that will help you start developing these qualities in your daily interactions, especially during meetings. The power of your posture and your tone is so important. And your objective is to project confidence, authority, and calmness in meetings or in group settings through your body language and the tone of your voice. Being aware of your body language is so important. And you know what? Before your next meeting or an important conversation, take a moment to check your posture and your body language. Are you slouching or fidgeting? Are your arms crossed, signaling defensiveness? To project confidence and openness, try the following. I want you to sit or stand up straight. I want your spine to be straight and be tall with your shoulders relaxed and slightly back. This posture opens you up. It opens your chest up and it signals that you are alert and confident. So maintain an open posture always. Avoid crossing your arms or hunching over your desk. Keep your hands relaxed in front of you or rest them on the table. If you're standing, place your hands comfortably at your side. Open body language shows that you are approachable and in control. Make purposeful eye contact. When speaking, make eye contact with different people in the room. And this can be done even over a Zoom call. This shows engagement. It also reinforces your authority. Avoid staring at the floor or looking distracted or looking away or picking up your cell phone. You want to be engaged and looking at each person in the room as you speak. Control your fidgeting and your nervous habits. Don't be tapping your pen or scrolling through your phone or adjusting your hair or doing all of those other things that take the attention away from the meeting and away from you, because this signals insecurity. Keep your movements calm and deliberate. Your tone of voice is very important. So even if you have the best ideas in the room, a shaky or hesitant tone can undermine your authority. So here's how to project confidence through your voice. Speak slowly and clearly. Rushing through your words can make you sound nervous. Slow down your speech to ensure clarity and make small pauses between thoughts. This gives you time to think and gives your words more weight. And when you pause, then you won't have so many and 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 ums. So remember to pause. And it does give your words more weight. Lower your pitch. A lower pitch voice often conveys more authority. Be mindful of your pitch and practice speaking from your diaphragm. To deepen your voice naturally, just speak from your torso. Avoid speaking from your throat, which can make your voice sound strained or even high pitched. Use controlled volume. Speak loudly enough that everyone in the room can hear you, but avoid shouting or speaking too softly. Volume shows confidence and helps people pay attention it helps people pay attention to what you're saying. So volume is very, very important. And in statements with confidence, avoid trailing off or turning statements into questions. For example, instead of saying, we should implement this strategy, don't you think? Say, we should implement this strategy because it aligns with our goals. Doesn't that sound so much better? So, practice what we've been talking about in your upcoming meetings. Be aware, be self-conscious of what you're doing. Now that you're aware of your body language and tone, it's time to put these skills into practice during your next meeting. And, just follow these simple steps. Before you start your meeting, center yourself. Take a few deep breaths, straighten your posture, straighten yourself up in the chair, and remind yourself to project with confidence. And during the meeting, check in with yourself. And I want you to be aware of what's happening around in the meeting, because you're going to find that people are paying more attention to you. They're more engaged. You know, make sure you're sitting tall and maintaining that open body language, and that you're making eye contact with others. And is your tone of voice steady and confident? And it's easy to check this. It's not going to interfere with your meeting. Just be conscious of what you're doing. And always remember, speak deliberately. When when it's your turn, when it's your turn to contribute, pause briefly before speaking to collect your thoughts. Then I want you to speak clearly and at a steady pace and maintain a confident tone. Take note of how people respond. Do you notice a shift in how people are listening to you? This is very important. When you're aware of this and you're watching what other people are doing, you're going to connect the two, and it's going to start adding up, and you're going to be able to go into each meeting more and more confident. As you watch, are they more engaged when you speak with authority and confidence? Because this is positive feedback, and it's going to help you it's going to help you reinforce your progress to becoming more confident, becoming a better speaker. All of those things about being a leader. You have to be aware and take note of what's happening when you walk in the room, when you're speaking, how people are receiving you. The confidence it's not a feeling. It's a way of showing up in the world. Developing your executive presence is essential for commanding respect, influencing others, and stepping into leadership roles. And by focusing on your body language and tone of voice, you can project the confidence needed to inspire and trust, and you will lead with authority when you do this. Start small with simple exercises, and you can build from there. The more you practice, the more natural it will feel. And over time, you'll notice how people respond to you differently. Executive presence isn't about perfection. It's about being intentional and consistent in how you present yourself. So the next time you walk into a meeting, remember, it's not just about what you say, it's about how you say it. Are you ready to step into your full potential? I'm so excited for you. I want to tell a story about a client of mine. His name was Manny, and that was his real name. And he was a client, and we've been working together for a few years. Manny, he wanted to develop this executive confidence, this executive presence. He's a hard worker. He's been with the company for 10 years, but he had been looked over multiple times for leadership roles. Very experienced guy, highly skilled in the industry. And he actually does have an impressive resume. And despite of his qualification, he felt stuck. And for years, Manny had been overlooked for promotions, and his confidence had taken a hit. He felt like he wasn't seen as a leader. Whether he was capable of moving up in his company, he didn't know. He often struggled with the imposter syndrome and doubting his ability to lead the team and to make important decisions. Manny's biggest challenge was not his lack of skills. It was his lack of executive presence. He lacked the confidence to assert his opinions during meetings, and often shrinking back and letting others take the spotlight. His body language reflected his hesitation, and his tone of voice conveyed uncertainty, which led others to overlook his expertise. So during our coaching time, Manny started working, and we've started working together, and we began by focusing on all of the things that I have just been talking to you about. We started focusing on his body language and his communication styles, the core elements of his executive presence. I introduced him to the power posture and the tone, his tone of voice exercise, and that I had shared just briefly. And I showed him in his meetings how to ensure that his posture uh, was going to make him look uh, strong and open, and that even his tone that he projected would give him that authority, and it would present the calmness that he needed to present himself as a leader. We dove into self-awareness, personal development. We worked on a lot of exercise, a lot of role playing, that we worked on Manny's self-doubt. We identify, moments when the imposter syndrome was creeping in and telling him he wasn't capable or strong enough or smart enough. So we I helped him take control of those feelings. And rather than letting them run the show, he started running the show. And, through all of that role playing and the scenarios, Manny, he, we led a lot of mock meetings, and he got stronger and stronger. And as I gave him that feedback, he began to grow and understand how all of this was so important and how it made him look like the authority in his industry. And as he kept up working on this week after week, and we developed all of those aspects of that executive presence, it really, really changed who he was. And I am happy to tell you, after a few months of working together, it was probably 6, 8 months, the transformation was so noticeable to him and his team, to his peers. They began to view him differently. He would come back to coaching sessions and he would go, "Oh, wow, this is working. People are respecting me differently. They're talking to me different." During meetings, he would take control of the conversation. He expressed his ideas, confidently, and commanded attention without having to raise his voice or to speak over others. He became more proactive about seeking those leadership opportunities. And instead of waiting for others to promote him, he started promoting himself. He started advocating for himself and volunteering for projects. And he started giving presentations and teaching. He started presenting himself differently to higher management, and he started developing that executive presence to the point where he didn't become just manager. He became the executive director of the department, which changed everything for him because he pretty much doubled his salary by just working on these few things. Now, we've been working together, like I said, for a few years, and there's a lot more growth there that I could tell you more and more stories about. But his career has progressed. He's also found a new sense of fulfillment and a balance in his personal life at home. He no longer questions whether he belongs, in this role of his newfound leadership, because he knows he does. He has the confidence now to put his shoulders back and know that that he belongs there. And that's so important. His story is a testament to the fact that executive presence is not just about feeling confident on the inside, but it's about projecting that confidence outwardly. And even when self-doubt creeps in. And you know what? By focusing on body language, tone of voice, and leadership communication, Manny was able to change how others perceived him and ultimately how he saw himself. What a transformation. And this is a real life example how focusing on this executive presence that I'm talking about can lead to a tangible result in leadership and into career growth. And if you if you just adjust the smallest details, you're going to see change. And we can work on this together. Just contact me. We can do a one-on-one quick consultation, no obligation. I'll help you work on this. Um, And something that is really important is your core values. And we're going to talk about that now because aligning your career with your core values is a key to fulfillment and success. Because so many professionals experience feelings of dissatisfaction or unfulfillment in their careers, even when everything appears successful on the surface. You know what, they may have a good job and a solid income and even a well-established position in the industry, but something still feels off. And the problem often lies in a lack of alignment between their career and the core values. And I want you to understand what core values are, because what the core values are, because at the heart of your career fulfillment, it's the ideal that the work you do should reflect who you truly are and what you really believe down deep in your heart and what makes you tick. And what are your values? What it needs to align with you and your values and what you value mostly in life. When your career is aligned with your core values, you feel energized, purposeful, and driven. But when there is a misalignment, even the most outwardly successful career can feel empty or unfulfilling. So let's explore why core values are so essential. Let's talk about how to identify your own core values. Have you ever thought about what your true core values are and how aligning your career with these core values can transform you professionally and uh, in your personal life? So, what are core values? Core values are the fundamental beliefs that guide your behavior. They guide your decisions and how you interact with the world around you. These values shape your sense of purpose, divine. They define what's most important to you and influence your personal and professional choices. Core values can include things like integrity, being honest, and having strong moral principles. Core values could include innovation, desire to be creative, and forward thinking. Work-life balance, prioritizing time for family, hobbies, and rest and relaxation. Core values can be about growth, a constant drive for self-improvement and development. Your core values could include community, the desire to help others and contribute to society. When you clearly understand your core values, you can make career decisions that are in line with those beliefs, leading to greater satisfaction and success. You know, the impact of career uh, values and misalignment with those values can be detrimental. When your career is not aligned with your core values, the result is often a sense of unease, frustration, or lack of fulfillment. You might have moments where you feel disconnected from your work or question why you're doing what you're doing. And here's a few signs that your career may not be aligned with your core values. Are you experiencing chronic stress? You feel constantly overwhelmed and unable to find balance. If your core value is work-life balance, but your job requires 60 to 80 hours a week, you're likely to experience burnout. Is it lack of motivation? You're going through the motions at work, but you don't feel inspired or motivated to push for growth. This could indicate that your career doesn't align with your core values or your self-improvement or your innovation. You know, moral dissonance. You feel uncomfortable with the ethics or mission of your organization. If your core value is integrity, but your work in your company where ethical compromises are the norm, you're bound to feel dissatisfaction. Are you feeling stuck? No matter how much you achieve in your role, you still feel like you're not progressing in a way that feels meaningful. You may be chasing external success without aligning to your internal purpose. Why aligning your career with your core values matters. When your career aligns with your core values, you're far more likely to experience a sense of purpose and fulfillment. Your work becomes an extension of who you are. You find meaning in your day-to-day tasks because you align with your work value. You have increased motivation and productivity. When you're passionate about what you're doing, you don't need external motivation to keep you going. You're naturally driven by your values and the impact you want to make. Better decision making. Core values acts as a compass for your career. You know what? When you're faced with tough decisions, whether it's choosing between job offers, deciding on career change, or pursuing a leadership role, your values help guide you in the right direction. Core values also help your work-life balance. When your career aligns with your values, it's easy to find balance. You don't feel the same tension between work and personal life because your career supports both. And you have long-term satisfaction. Jobs, companies, and roles may change, but when your career is rooted in your values, and you're more likely to experience long-term fulfillment. And that's so important. And how do you identify your core values? The first step in aligning your career with your core values is to identify what those values are. And this requires introspection and honest self-reflection. And let's work through how you can uncover some of your core values. I want you to reflect on your past experiences and think about the moments in your career when you felt the most fulfilled and satisfied. Write them down right now. Think about the time in your career when you felt most fulfilled and satisfied. And then I want you to ask yourself, what was happening during those moments? What made you feel proud or energized? What values are coming up for you when you think about this as you write it down? What values were being honored in those experiences that made you feel so good? Write them down. And then similarly, think about the moments when you felt deeply unhappy, unsatisfied, uncomfortable in your career. What values were being compromised in those moments? Was it ethics? Was it honesty, integrity, work-life balance? What was being compromised? And I want you to make a list of what matters most to you. Look at what you've written down. Create a list of these things that are most important to you, both personally and professionally. Here's some questions to guide you. What drives you to do the work you do? What motivates you to do the work that you do? What makes you feel good to do this work? What impact do you want your career to have on your life and the lives of others? What value are non-negotiable for you in the workplace? Things like honesty and creativity and, ethical. Maybe it's about collaboration and working with each other or working with others. I want you to narrow down your core values from the list that you've created. Narrow them down. You know what? I am going to include a workbook with this webinar, and that will help you create some of these core values. And you can always reach out to me and I will help you develop your core values. So right now, write down to 3, or maybe you have 5 core values that you've developed from writing down these scenarios of what made you fulfilled and happy. These should be the values that resonate with you, that resonates with you the most, and that you want to guide your career decisions with. And not only your career decision, but your personal life, decisions. So let me give you some examples of core values that you might have come up with. Integrity, innovation, independence, collaboration, community, sustainability, leadership, excellence. Maybe one of your core values is the need to evolve and to grow and to change. And, aligning your core values with your career I can't express how important it is and how it's going to make you feel so much more fulfilled. Now that you've identified your core values, the next step is to assess how well your current career aligns with those values, and you need to make adjustments where necessary. So let's evaluate your current role. Consider your current job or your business. Does this support your core values, or is there a disconnect? Here's some areas to consider, like work environment. Does the company culture align with your values? For example, if collaboration is a core value, do you have opportunities to work in a team-oriented environment, or are you stuck in isolation, working by yourself? Leadership style. Are your leaders and managers promoting values that resonate with yours, or do you find yourself in constant moral conflict? Career growth, if that's important, is there room for growth in areas that are important to you? If innovation is one of your core values, are you in an environment where you can challenge yourself and think creatively? Make adjustments along the way. We always adjust, and as we grow, our values change. It's okay. Make those adjustments. If you find that there's a misalignment between your values and your current career, you might need to consider ways to adjust. Maybe you need to redefine your role. If you enjoy the company but not your current task, is there a way to shift your focus to projects that align more closely with your values? Have a conversation with your managers, your directors, your leaders. Sometimes discussing your values and seeking opportunities that better align with them can lead to it leads to positive changes in your role. Explore new opportunities. If your current job or maybe your business no longer supports your core values, it may be time to consider a career change or a shift within your industry. So career alignment with your values it's a career of fulfillment when you align your core values. Aligning your career with your core values is not just about feeling good at work. It's about leading a life of meaning and purpose and satisfaction. When you make career decisions based on your values, you can be sure that each step you take brings you closer to living the life you want, not just a life that others expect. If you feel unfulfilled or disconnected from your career, take the time to reflect on what truly matters to you. The clearer you are about your core values, the easier it becomes to navigate your career journey and make decisions that honor your beliefs. And what's the result? It's a more fulfilling, balanced, and successful professional and personal life. So let's take some actionable steps for your career. Let's reflect on values. Let's assess how your career aligns with those values. Let's talk about how to understand what the sense of fulfillment is and purpose at work is, and how it's tied to honoring your core values. Core values is so important to life, and how your core values is what makes you tick. And when you know what your core values are, then you have work-life balance. And when you have work-life balance, you know how to work smarter, not harder. Because in today's, fast-paced world, many professionals equate success with working long hours and constantly hustling and always being on. However, true success isn't about working harder. It's about working smarter. And I want you to understand that. It's about finding that delicate balance between your professional and your personal life and ensuring that neither is sacrificed for the other. At the heart of achieving work-life balance, there is the realization that both parts of your life deserve attention. And by creating balance, you can improve not just your productivity and your job performance, but also your personal happiness and well-being. So let's explore some key concepts of work-life balance and how you can begin setting healthy boundaries to reclaim your time and your energy. The myth of working harder It's just a myth. And it's not the answer. For many professionals and entrepreneurs, there is a persistent myth that the only way to achieve success is by working harder. And this often looks like, you know, answering the emails late at night and during the weekend, skipping personal or family time to attend to work, and taking on more projects than you can reasonably handle, not being able to fully unplug even during vacations or your time off. And that's so important, learning to unplug. And while this level of dedication may seem admirable, the reality is that constant overworking leads to burnout, decreased productivity, and diminishing quality of life. And over time, this, this the lines between work and personal life blur, leaving you feeling stretched thin, exhausted, and unfulfilled. And I'd like to add burnout. And so many of you are experiencing burnout. And that's why you're here, because you think you need a change in your career. And that's what I want to help you get to a point of fulfillment. The power of working smarter is about quality over quantity. Success isn't about how many hours you work, but about how effectively you use those hours. Working smarter means prioritizing tasks that move the needle in your career or business rather than getting caught up in the busy work, delegating tasks when possible to free up that mental bandwidth that you need, focusing on outcomes and efficiency rather than being constantly available. By working smarter, you free up time for the things that truly matter, such as spending time with family and pursuing hobbies, or simply resting and recharging. After all, life is not just about all work and no play. It's about enjoying the journey along the way. So let's talk about achieving work-life balance and setting those boundaries. One of the most effective ways to achieve work-life balance is by setting clear boundaries between your work time and your personal time. When you set boundaries, you protect your time and energy which helps you avoid burnout and allows you to be more persistent in both areas of your life. So, here's a few tips that you can start using immediately. Think about this. Limit your hours. Limit your after hours of communication. In today's digital age, our computer is in our hand, our smartphone is there, we have easy access, we're constantly there. It's easy to stay plugged in to work long after you're at home. You know what? After working hours, we need to learn to turn it off. And while you think it's harmless, to check an email here and there or respond to messages during your personal time, this habit can blur the lines between work and life and making it harder for you to fully unwind, which it will eventually lead to burnout. And I can personally attest to that. We need to learn to unplug and to create balance. We need to implement these strategies. We need to set specific work hours, define our work hours, when our workday starts and when it ends, and communicate this clearly to our colleagues and our managers, even our clients. Let them know these are my work hours. This is when I am available. Turn off the emails and the notification after hours. Resist the urge to check your inbox. Instead, consider, turning everything off at that time that you have designed, that you've set up, saying this is the end of work hours, turn it off, and then go on. Because trust me, the world will keep going. Life will continue and work will be there tomorrow, and you will be able to take care of whatever situation may arrive after you've shut your phone off. So don't be afraid to do that. And you know what? Communicating boundaries are so important. Let your team know that while you're fully engaged during the work hours, you're not going to be available outside those times unless it's an emergency. For instance, you could say, I'm available between 8 and 8, or I'm available between 8 and 6. And you'll respond to non-urgent emails and messages the following day. You know how the team can be sometimes. They're always texting you. Create a dedicated workspace. That's very important too. If you work from home, avoid taking your work into your personal spaces like your bedroom or the living room. Create a dedicated workspace that helps you mentally separate work from your personal time. And when you leave that space, it signals the end of your workday. Unplug during the weekends and vacations. Make it a rule to unplug from work completely during weekends, holidays, and when you're on vacation. Take this time to reset and recharge and to rest so that when you return to work, you're more focused and productive. Trust me, you will be better off when you return refreshed and rejuvenated than if you continue to stay plugged into work. It just drains that energy. So learn to unplug, learn to set those boundaries around your work time. Give yourself that permission to fully engage in your personal life, whether it's spending quality time with your family or pursuing whatever it is you like to do as a hobby. And it may be just simply relaxing. The ripple effects of work-life balance, it it really does ripple. When you're not happy at home, you're not happy at work. And when life at home is in chaos, then I can probably guess that life at work is chaos as well. So achieving a sustainable work-life balance doesn't just make for more productivity at work. It also improves your overall well-being, your health, your happiness. And when you set boundaries and create balance, you have a total different experience. It increases productivity when you know how to have and set. When you know how to have a set amount of time to complete tasks, you're more focused on, you know, you're more focused on efficient and being effective during your workday. And this leads to a higher productivity with less hours, really. You're just as productive during that 8 to 6 as you would be if you were still answering emails and messages, up until 10 o'clock at night. So you will increase your productivity when you learn to unplug. You're going to get more personal fulfillment. You'll have more time and energy to devote to the people and activities that bring you joy. This leads to a greater sense of fulfillment and satisfaction in your personal life. You're going to have better health. Without the constant stress of overworking, you're less likely to experience burnout, anxiety, physical health problems. Work-life balance also will allow you to prioritize rest, exercise, and mental well-being. You're going to have stronger relationships by setting work boundaries. Means you can fully be present when spending time with family and friends, and leading to deeper and more meaningful connections. You will be more present when you're at work with the team. So set those boundaries. And you know what? You're going to have long-term career success because rather than burning out from working harder and creating balance ensures you can sustain a long, fulfilling career without sacrificing your personal life. So, balance isn't a luxury, it's a necessity. Work-life balance isn't just a luxury reserved for a select few. It's a necessity for everyone who wants to live a fulfilling and successful life. By working smarter, not harder, and setting clear boundaries around your time, you can achieve the balance you need to thrive in both your career and in your personal life. So step back and assess where you can create more balance and begin setting boundaries that support your long-term success. Remember, the key to success isn't about always working more. It's about working smarter and living better. By incorporating simple strategies like limiting after hours communication, by limiting after hours communications and setting boundaries, you can start experiencing the benefits of true work-life balance where both your career and your personal life thrive. So, are you ready to create the balance you deserve? It's time to create that balance. It's time to develop that executive presence so that you can excel in your career no matter what level you're at. So that brings us to the end, and I want to thank you for joining me today. But now you've had a glimpse of what's possible when you commit to unlocking your potential, whether it's stepping into leadership, building confidence, or creating that exclusive work-life balance. You're here because you're ready for something more, something better for your career, and ultimately your life. Here's the thing. What we've covered today is just the surface. So you know what? There's a workshop down below of this webinar, and I want you to check it out. In this workshop, we're going to dive deep into each of these areas that we've talked about today, whether it's learning how to project true executive presence, building unshakable confidence in your leadership, or mastering the art of work-life balance. I'll guide you every step of the way. You know, we're going to go beyond the theory. The workshops are packed with practical strategies and hands-on exercises that ensure you not just learning, but truly transforming. You'll learn how to walk into any room and command respect, and how to handle tough conversations with poise and authority, and most importantly, how to align your work with your life so that you can find that balance that we all strive for. And here's where it gets really powerful. I've developed my signature flow process, and it's not just about career growth. It's about taking on a journey of self-discovery that leads you to a complete paradigm shift. You'll learn you're not just going to learn, but you're going to experience profound changes in how you see your career and your life. You're going to imagine, you know what, if you can imagine waking up every day feeling clear, focused, and in control, ready to take on any challenge with confidence, that's the power of my flow process. So I want you to be a part of this life-changing experience. And, I launched this last year, and one of the persons who took it, his name was Alan, and this is what he said. After completing the workshops, I had the skills to put what I didn't realize was how much I was holding myself back. After working in the workshop and working with Roy, I'm now that executive director of my department. I finally am feeling like I'm living up to my potential. And that's what I want you to do. I want you to be fulfilled. I want you to live up to your potential. I want you to have that transformation in your life that takes you wherever you want to go. And there's no limits. There's no limits where you can take your career. But let me tell you, it takes commitment. It takes willingness, and the willingness to invest in yourself and the future that you want to create. So if you're ready to break through the barriers that's holding you back and step into your full potential, I'd love to invite you to join me on the upcoming workshop. This is your moment. This is your time. And the question is, are you ready to take the next step? And if you're ready for the next chapter in your career, the next chapter in your life, I want you to click the link below, and I want you to learn more about the workshop and sign up. Let's unlock your full potential together. You're going to get my signature on-demand workshop, Command Your Career, Executive Presence, and Influence Building, as well as the opportunity to schedule a one-on-one coaching with me to help you walk through any of these strategies that we've been talking about and that you're going to learn more in depth in the workshop. I'll answer any questions. We'll work together to develop a personalized strategic plan that's just for you. And if most successful people have a plan, a strategic plan, and I want to help you develop that plan for success. And as a bonus, you'll get the on-demand workshop titled Navigating Your Career, the Strategic Career Planning, and Transition Management. For those of you who are ready to make that leap and move up the ladder, to move your career further, that workshop is going to give you so much value in helping you step out and to apply for those positions, to present yourself for those positions and to get those positions. Um, so what's in the workshops? Well, let me tell you, we will be assessing your current career position, crafting a strategic career plan. We will also talk about navigating your career transition, along with helping you build a resilient career that you desire, that makes you fulfilled, that makes you feel fulfilled. And that's not all. You're going to be invited after you finish the 2 workshops. I will invite you to a monthly group coaching program where we will continue to work on all aspects of your career development. We're going to have what I call a hot seat coaching, where we pick people from the call, and we coach individuals who are serious about reaching their full potential. We will have guest coaches who will help you develop your skills even further to move into those leadership roles that you desire. So both workshops are self-paced and comes with a downloadable PDF workbook that will help you stay on track. Because the program was so popular last year, I'm only going to open it up for a few weeks. That way, we can develop that group workshop that I'm talking to you about and really, really dive deep into developing a lot of these strategies to help you be successful for the new year that's coming up. All right. I am so excited that you stayed with me, and I hope you found value in this webinar and that you join me in the workshops and that you become so successful that you can't believe it. So I can't wait to see your incredible transformation that's waiting for you. So join me on the inside, and remember, you're more than enough. Now go take on the day.